Hey everyone, I wish I would have done this video a little bit sooner because some people in my Discord actually got tricked into getting the Source of Life crystals. I'm just going to show you really quickly what that entails just so that you also don't waste your item when you're picking in the optional chest, the Source of Life crystal, thinking that you're going to be so helpful to your alliance. They're basically using your compassion and empathy of your fallen comrades, and they're wanting you to choose the Source of Life instead of the tactic scrolls and other things that are actually more useful to your keep. So what I noticed when I bought an event pack was that there were two different chests. So I had an older optional chest and I had a newer one. And the newer one, as you saw, gave the Source of Life crystals added as well as waybills. So as you see here, you want the research speeds, you want the tactic scrolls, but looking at the Source of Life, it looks like, wait a second, if I can gift this to, people, that's kind of cool. It must be more than, just a couple of Source of Life. It must be more than what it said. So I went ahead and selected it only to test it out to show you guys, right? Because I know how Evony is. And of course, I don't need any more waybills, but it might be helpful for you guys if you need waybills. So Evony's actually being very nice about that by giving you that option, but I'm not going to give up my badges or my dragon crystals. I would rather get that than waybills. So we have selected the Source of Life, and let's see if they give a description on it. So it says, use it to receive a large amount of Source of Life. A large amount. But when you click on it, it says 10. But when you hear large amount, you think that 10 Source of Life is not a large amount, okay? That is not a large amount. So I just thought, Evony does have some issues with like translation in languages. Surely it's like 1,000 Source of Life, right? So I was going to go and test this out. So I sent it to my fallen comrade, Dark World, from last SVS because he got zeroed with that glitch that happened. So I attached it thinking that he would get 10. I thought the item was 10 crystals, and it actually is, like, that's the quantity. It's only one crystal got sent to him. And happy Easter, by the way, to all those that celebrate it. I definitely do. So happy Easter. So this is the video that Dark World recorded, and he's opening it. He only got one crystal. And so when he goes to his inventory, he opens it, and this large amount is only 10. So let's open it. Yep. So yeah, I don't understand why Evony would do that. Like, it is obviously 10 Source of Life is not equivalent to those tactic scrolls, right? So they must be mistaken. It should be 100, maybe 100, and not 10, but maybe 100. So if you send 10 crystals to somebody, they get 1,000 Source of Life. That would make more sense. So Evony, you need to change that. So while we're on the topic of Dark World, so he got compensation for the Source of Life, but I don't think it actually covered all of his troops, but they would not actually reimburse him for the resources, which is just so crazy because it wasn't even that much. I mean, it was a lot for him, right? So he's a 3.8 billion power player, 6 billion, I think it was 6 billion resources. I mean, that's a lot for him, especially since he is trying to save up for 40. Now, 40 and upgrading to that, normally that is an easy push for people to help him get to 40. But, this was kind of something interesting because I asked our team, I said, hey, if all of us just kind of pitch in, we can, get Dark World back up to 40. It's, helping him out. And actually, Duke kind of said something that made me think, you know what, this is actually a better way. So instead of enabling people that we're just going to help you and just solve problems for you, you actually have to work to solve your problems. So if instead of just like giving the RSS, right, Dark World's like, well, I actually need stamina so that he can rally his own monsters, he can join rallies, and he can get the stamina that way. He can earn the RSS back through helping him out with the stamina. So, as you see in this new update, there is a batch send. You can send all 10 in one go. Like, look how easy this is. So, I wanted to show you guys this just in case you missed it, because this is an awesome little upgrade. Now, it actually wasn't too bad doing all 10, but this, like, if they could do like a waybill of 100, that would be amazing, but they probably will never do that. But this is such an easy way to kind of help out an alliance mate, but they still have to do the work on their own. And I think this is super important because when you're in an alliance and when you tend to, be in a bigger team, there's just a lot of stuff we give away, right? We give red subs away, we give gold subs away. Like, gold subs are just like candy to us, right? But red subs, it is based off of people's points. And so when we gave red subs away, we made sure that it was based off of like the next person in line, their points. And it makes so much sense to do this based off of people's merit, because not only do people not get resentful that other people get things, but it's easier to understand and accept when you see data and numbers and all that kind of stuff, and you have people work for it. And then it prevents your players from becoming entitled, right? And not just entitled, but complacent. So you always want to keep people working for that next goal. And this is what we used, was the challenge tracker where everybody has the points. And then we assessed who all has red subs, right? And then who is next in line with points. And if you're doing this every time, eventually you're going to have a team full of red subs. Understand that it was a huge pet peeve of mine in the old era of VAL, where we had some really great players like Kumo, who is small but mighty and is on every battlefield and just a really good player. And the fact that she had purple subs, just like, oh my God, I couldn't with that. So making sure that your battlefield players are being taken care of, even if they are small or lower coiners, if they are invaluable at buildings, scouting, joining rallies, reinforcing, all that kind of stuff, if they're invaluable, it doesn't matter their coin level. What matters is how they contribute to the team. And there are, people that are entitled that will just sit battlefield and not do anything. But, they just think, oh, I'm part of the team, I'm just going to sit here and get zeroed and not do anything. And those are just things that you kind of have to assess. And you can kind of see that when you're doing, the points system, right? It's just based off of that. And not to say that some people who get low points are not working hard, because obviously some people just get, unlucky. They get zeroed right away, red Wi-Fi, we've all been through it. But you start seeing like who's really kind of putting in, and then making sure that those people are compensated. It helps, keep them happy as well, because people can get frustrated. People, when they get zeroed easily, they get frustrated and kind of want to give up. But if they're amazing at port swaps and portals and all that kind of stuff, they're just as important as the rest of the team. And so it's very fitting that, they get a red sub. And what I do like about Dark World is that now that he has learned his lesson about not going on to the enemy server and getting zeroed and not having enough soul and all that kind of stuff, he knows his area, right? So now he knows that he can't do that the next SVS. And we have had players that have come on free accounts and they have basically, made a lot of points in SVS because they burned through all that free account soul and did not put back in and just left the account, just with nothing. And people assume, oh, that player, scored 2 billion points. No, that person wasted all the soul and now has no soul left for the next person who's going to get on that account. So just really understand that people that are conservative with their stuff is because they're looking at the longevity of their game and their account. And, you can't make a team an orange when they're an apple. And I think that's kind of the thing too, is you have to know what the strengths are in your team. You have to know what the weaknesses are, and you can't push them to be a certain way if that is not the way that the team is or who they are. So you have to use your understanding of humans and push the best parts of people and try to minimize the weakness of your team, right? And that's just basic management 101. And yeah, so that's all I wanted to show you guys, is hopefully you'll stay away from the soul crystals. You know how to batch send the stamina, and just a little bit of teamwork and sub allocations, just a little glimpse of how the new era of VAL does things. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Talk soon.